So I've just been doing a little bit of work off camera because sometimes it's just too difficult to film and do the work at the same time, but just to show you how I'm progressing. This is the rear wheel. I've had a look at the rear bearings. These seemed absolutely perfect. This is the cush drive. That seems absolutely perfect, so I've reinstalled those. On the other side, again, I don't know if you can see, rear bearing seems pretty good. Just cleaned up the outside faces of the bearing and also the wheel where the bearing locates. There's a seal that has perished here, so I need to replace that. And also, so this is the cush drive. I don't know if you can see. That is the cush drive. Again, the bearing seems pretty good. There's a spacer here that goes against the wheel, which also seems pretty good. So I was going to buy new bolts because then the sprocket mounts on here. I was going to buy new bolts, but I've just cleaned up one of the heads and it seems to have come up pretty good. They're not corroded, they're just sort of a bit dull. They're supposed to be zinc plated though. What do you think? Should I be replacing everything, zinc plating everything? I can do it further down the line if I like. It's not a mega job to take the rear sprocket off and put new bolts on. You can do them one at a time, can't you? Again, the rear sprocket's in pretty good condition. I've taped it up and given it a coat of black paint just to smarten it up a bit, and I'm trying to preserve as much as I can. So I've started to look at repairing this fairing, and I've actually done one plastic weld here. I know it looks quite messy from the front, but it's all below the surface, and it's actually got some of those plastic clips supporting it all, so it's actually very stable, and it's not creaking or cracking, so I think that's okay. So if you look on the inside of this fairing, it's actually got quite a few splits and cracks in it, and this is the top half of the fairing obviously, and pieces like missing out of here. So I'm thinking, do I just cut my losses and find a decent top one? But I don't want to put a fiberglass one on here, I want it to stay original. So I am going to try and repair it. I've bought one of these, which is a plastic welder, and you actually put like a staple, that's what I think it looks like, or a clip, or whatever you choose to call it, in the end of the soldering iron. Okay, when you pull the trigger, it heats up the clip and then it actually sinks into the plastic, but you have to be really careful because you don't know how deep you can go with it. You don't know how far through, and it does like go through quite quick. So I'm going to stop there, just hold it. Okay, and it just leaves the pins in behind. And so I've just been snipping these off below the surface of the plastic, and then that obviously means that I can rub this down and then just fill over the top of it. So here's my next dilemma. You can see there is a large piece of the top fairing corner missing. So I've created a pattern out of cardboard. So here's the piece of plastic I've created to recover that corner of the fairing. This is, I put 4 staples in there. Unfortunately I've gone deep in one, but the thing is, you can see without even doing any plastic welding on that how strong that is. I've still got to remove the pins from the back, but I'm pretty happy with that. Well, there you go. Although it's very labour intensive, I hope you can see that is very successful, and it's very, very sturdy as well. So yeah, that's not going to break off in a hurry, and so I've got a lot of repairs to do. That's going to take ages, but it's okay, it's only time. Okay, so I've made a couple more repairs to the fairing. Quite pleased with that. Another crack there that I've repaired, and also the hole on the other side of the fairing here, and on the inside all the separate cracks are all supported and reinforced. So now the thing to do is to repair this big hole in the top fairing where the mirror was. So I'm going to begin by, I've cut a bit of plastic here to fit in this hole here, which will replace the main part of the loss here, and then I'll start to fill some of this back up. I couldn't really, I wanted to make this part of this piece, but to be honest it was too fiddly, so I'm just going to fill this hole in here with my filler rod that I said before was made of plastic sprue from model kits. So here you can see I've soldered in, welded in more plastic into that area, put quite a lot of plastic in there, actually enough to fill any sort of gaps on the top of the fairing there. But as you can see, that's pretty strong. It's not, shouldn't flex when it's on the bike, but it's obviously the flexing that's going to damage it. I've also put a couple of staples in the back of here, but I think I'd quite like to just put a bit of plastic in this little crack. I don't even know if you can see, and that will just give that a bit of structural strength and stop the crack coming back through the plastic. So that's the hole in the indicator surround filled there. The other two things I've noticed is there's a mounting bracket broken off on the inside, which should look like that, just a hole in it, and then also there's the same at the top, so this one's snapped off at the top. I've made a little piece that fits in there, and so long as it's roughly the same size and shape as what snapped off, I leave all the rough edges on at the moment because they catch and melt quicker, and it just helps with the whole process of welding, I find. So here's the fairing pretty much all repaired. I've just noticed a couple of small cracks on the on the actual mounting points that I haven't fixed. These are the mounting points after I've fixed them. They've got the metal supports in them, so pretty strong really, and then plastic welded on the inside. I've cleaned all the inside of the fairing up, and obviously I'll get a coat of filler and then some black paint over the top. So that's a bit of a phase one, going over with filler, and looks about the right shape. So what I'm going to do is remove the blue stripe because that's a sticker using a hot air gun, and then I might put a bit of white primer over the filler just so we've got a rough idea of what else we have to do to it. But yeah, looking pretty good, quite pleased with that. Oh yeah. So this residue, so the grey that is left behind is actually the glue, which is a bit of a nuisance really. But I think I've found before, the best thing to get this off with is some carburetor cleaner. So I'll try that and I'll report back. So to be honest, I skipped a few steps in the video because there was too much going on and I just wanted to get it done, and using a carburetor cleaner does work to get glue off, and you still got to give it a bit of a scrub, and it does take a bit of time, but you know, it works. Anyway, so this is where we're at with the front half of the fairing. So as you can see, it is actually in the pearl white paint, which is very, very unforgiving, and I expect when it's been given a coat of lacquer it will look a lot better and a lot flatter. But let's see if I can get a good view of it. It's a lovely paint. So from here I've got to paint the red on the top half of the fairing, which I've got as well. So that's my plan for today, is to start doing a few of these bits and pieces in red and white. I've done the pearlescent on most of the panels on the bike now, and I've got loads of videos to show you and loads of videos to make you, but unfortunately I just haven't had time to edit them. It just takes so long, you know, when you're working and everything else. You know, I've got a job, you know, I can't just do this all day. I wish I could. Like and subscribe up here today, I think, and if you do that it will help the channel, and maybe it will make a future for this channel. Maybe one day I'll be able to do this full time and restore bikes. I've got another one coming up after this one. I might have another one after that one, so it's keeping me busy anyway. But yeah, plenty to do, loads of work to do, and yeah, like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Bye. So to be honest, I skipped a few steps with the video. I couldn't be bothered. I just couldn't be bothered.